Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. No matter what time of night or day, I'm still just as glad you stopped by my channel. Thank you very much. As you saw, this is the Social Gospel Worship and Learning Center. We are an online church based in Atlanta, Georgia. Sunday blog posts and videos around the world for all who would read or for all who would watch, proclaiming the good news of Jesus Christ, who is the Son of God, who lives and reigns forever, having been crucified and died on a cross, laid in a borrowed grave only to rise again on the morning of the third day. That Jesus Christ is the one whom I preach about. For this Sunday's message, this will be a little shorter one today because it's a holiday and y'all got other things to do. I want to post about Memorial Day, and this is the title too, Memorial Day, the book of Revelation, and peace. Subtitle, Praying for a Day When There Will Be No More Wars. Yeah, I'm back on my anti-war high horse again. I've made y'all do without long enough. Time to do another anti-war and anti-killing message. This is taken from some verses in Revelation chapter 6 and again in chapter 9, as well as in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5. Now before I begin, disclaimer, this is a promotional announcement. Coming this Labor Day weekend, a new book, an ebook, although I may decide to do it in print later. The book's title is The Freedom Lover's Handbook. Just The Freedom Lover's Handbook by yours truly, Minister Paul J. Bern. It's abbreviated to Rev. Paul J. Bern, short for Reverend, on the book to save space on the cover for one thing, and other reasons too. But anyway, enough of that. Coming Labor Day weekend, the price will be $3.99. Reasonable enough for even working people to be able to buy. After all, they're the ones whom the book is targeted towards. But let's talk about the Sunday message as we all celebrate yet another Memorial Day holiday weekend. We pause and remember those who gave their all during wars overseas from World War I going forward. This makes me wonder what new name would be invented to commemorate all who would be killed should World War III erupt. One possibility would be simply Doomsday. The World War III Grand Memorial could be another. This, of course, is assuming there will be anyone left, that there will be anybody around to name this hypothetical holiday at all. In that event, there would be no one left to name this hypothetical day, which I'm going to just mass suicide day. That's what World War III is going to turn out to be. And the Bible says it's going to occur. probably in our lifetimes too. This is not some far in the distance approaching storm. Oh no, this storm is practically on top of us. Now, in this regard, I want to share a couple of Bible verses in which is contained a prophecy. Because you see, the Bible foretells of a similar war in the book of Revelation, among other places, such as Ezekiel, Ezekiel, yeah, but Zechariah in the Old Testament is another example. Excuse me. This war, however, which will actually be two wars to be fought in rapid succession, can be found in Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8. And I'm quoting from the scriptures now. I looked, and before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades followed close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth, to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. Close quote. Then, a second war is prophesied to take place after that. As the Bible recounts just 3 chapters later, and I quote once again, the 6th angel sounded his trumpet. And I heard a voice coming from one of the horns of the golden altar that is before God. It said to go to the 6th angel who had the trumpet and to tell him, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels who had been kept ready for that very hour and day and month and year were released to kill a third of mankind. The number of mounted troops was 200 million. I heard their number. Close quote. That's Revelation 9 verses 13 through 16. Let me point out, neither of these wars has occurred as of this writing. In May, on Memorial Day, May 27th, 2024, they have not occurred yet. Not yet. The wars yet to come. The first war in Revelation chapter 6 can also be found in Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, as I mentioned a minute ago. I published a 2-part series about Ezekiel 38 and 39 about that war back in March of this year. You can find it on my blog or here on the video channel. They're back there. I don't know the links by heart, but just search the title, Ezekiel 38-39, or search by the author name, Minister Paul J. Bern. They should pop up either way. Moving right along here. Since there are currently more than 8 billion people living on the face of the earth, so if the Revelation 6 war kills a third of humankind, that would come to 2.666 billion people. It's a repeating decimal. I don't think that's by coincidence either. The Second World War in Revelation 9 will kill fully 1/3 of the people who are lucky enough to survive the First War, or an additional 2 billion people more. I think it's more than a coincidence that the two figures for the two wars are nearly the same. So it is safe to say that these two wars combined will kill the better part of half of humanity and possibly even more. Now, hold that thought while I return to my original theme, what a future Memorial Day may look like. This makes me wonder if a Memorial Day will be created for these future wars too. My country, the USA, has been at war in Iraq twice in the last quarter century for oil, a commodity that should have been made obsolete decades ago. And yet here we are in 2024, still using gasoline for a fuel while we asphyxiate our planet and ourselves, one tank full at a time. Had America switched to, say, cleaner burning natural gas back in the 1970s when we should have and could have, our air would be proportionally cleaner and the planet would be much better off as well. You know, you can be an environmentalist without being a Christian. True enough. But I maintain you cannot be a Christian without being an environmentalist, because, as it says in the book of Psalms, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. That's the New International Version. The Amplified Bible says, the earth is the Lord's and everything that is contained within it. Close but not exact. But a little more exact, you see. So, thinking about the consequences of another world war is what this leads us to. Albert Einstein once famously said, I don't know what kind of weapons World War III will be fought with, but if there's a fourth world war, it will be fought with sticks and stones. Einstein probably didn't realize at the time what a prophetic statement that truly was, and he made that statement back in around 1950 or so, 5 years before his death. With humankind possessing enough nuclear weapons to fry the entire planet hundreds of times over, a nuclear war would render nearly every living thing extinct, especially ourselves, because we're the ones who will have started it all. And the blowback will come back and hit us first. I see no point in World War III being fought for oil and other natural resources when, once victory is obtained, there will be no one left to sell it to. They'll all be dead. I wonder if they've even thought that through. Well, this online preacher sure has. But hold on, I've got a little bit more to say. Getting closer to the closing point now. Stick with me. Here's the way things should have been, in my humble opinion. The U.S. military-industrial complex must stop in the name of God immediately. So says this internet preacher. I don't have much earthly authority, that is certain. Yeah, true enough. But I have some spiritual authority that these warriors know nothing about. A day is coming when it will no longer be true that the key to world peace will lie in the hands of the ones with the biggest guns. There are 8 billion lives at stake, and mine is one of them. End the insanity. Stop this madness of war for profit, or we, the American people, will be compelled to force you to stop. This coming groundswell of world peace will make it so. As President John F. Kennedy once prophesied, there is a revolution coming. He was right. It hasn't got here yet, but it's getting mighty close. But enough about that. I don't want to get too far into politics. Moreover, besides a groundswell of peace, if the U.S. government had done its job by legislating an accelerated national program to replace fossil fuels back in the 1970s, when the handwriting against fossil fuels first appeared on the proverbial wall, we would all be driving electric cars now. There'd be charging stations everywhere in place of the gas stations. There would be few gas stations left, with all of them having gone the way of Route 66. This insanity, then? This insanity has got to come to an end. Let's not have to come up with yet another day of commemoration for all those who gave their lives in yet another pointless war. This has gone far enough. Much too far, in my humble opinion. Moreover, Memorial Day commemorates only the soldiers who gave their lives, while ignoring all the untold hundreds of millions of innocent civilians who got caught in the crossfire. You don't have Memorial Day for that now, do you? This is not to detract from the extreme importance we attach to those we commemorate this weekend. No, far from it. May God bless and remain with our fighting men and women. And I mean that sincerely. But all I'm saying is, let's make sure we don't ever have to set aside still another holiday like this one. Let this Memorial Day be the last Memorial Day. We have our Veterans Day and Memorial Day, plus down here in Atlanta, Georgia, the annual Confederate holiday here in the spring. I think it's in April sometime. But anyway, although I personally do not celebrate Confederate Memorial Day, because I grew up in Cincinnati, which was just across the Mason-Dixon line, with the barrier between North and South being the Ohio River. I still respect those who do, even if I don't think the same way as my Southern brothers and sisters do. But my point is, 3 Memorial Days are more than enough. Please, everyone, let's not ever have to create yet another holiday to honor the dead from yet another world war. To quote Rodney King, remember him? Why can't we all just get along? Why can't we? Better still, to quote Jesus Christ, blessed are the peacemakers, our Lord said, for they shall be called the sons of the living God. That's Matthew chapter 5 and verse 9. The sons of the living God. If you want to make a real difference in your life, make yourselves among that number as well. Become a peacemaker, so that you too may be called one of the sons or daughters of the living God. And I will resolve to do the same. So help me God. That concludes this week's message. Normally at the end of a Sunday message, in a brick and mortar church, they pass around the collection basket. Now, I'm online only, so I can't do that. So I don't bother. I don't do this for the money. I don't get a salary for doing this, that's for sure. This is all volunteer work on my part. If you want and are able, I am in need of some donations. No, you don't have to send me 10% of your income. No. And if you could afford to do so, fine, but send what you can. The instructions for donating are in the comments section at the bottom down there. There are 2 different ways to donate. We are a registered nonprofit on PayPal and on Stripe. The email address for PayPal and the instructions for Stripe will also be found in the comments section at the bottom. If you can send a donation, you can help support us by joining our blog. There is a free version. The free version is text only with a YouTube video twice a week. The free version, there's got a whole lot more added on, such as access to 18,000 other writers on medium.com, which is where my blog is located. You can find it there. The address for that is also down there. The $5 a month is what it costs for the paid version, or, if you like, $50 a year. That works out to about 16 cents a day. Don't forget to give me a like, please, and a share or 2, and a subscribe. The subscription to the YouTube channel is also free, like the free version of the blog on Medium. Why not? I put out good stuff. Or I work hard at it, that's for sure. Last thing before I go, I just would like to thank each and every one of you for the privilege of your time. You are all very, very much appreciated. Having said all that there is to say for this time around, everybody be blessed. Yes, I said be blessed. In Jesus' mighty name.